Here's what I'm thinking. I actually changed my mind. I do want to go for the Pentagon, and I want to get Honor completed. So I want Pentagon and I want Sydney Opera House. If you want CN Tower, you can build it. But I need I need a lot of money. With the number, like, my military is huge. I've got 50, 60. I've got like 30 units right now, and each one of those costs like 1,000 gold to upgrade. Okay. So I need the money, and I'm making more units, and that's gonna hurt my economy even more. So yeah, I mean, I'd love CN Tower 2 because it helped me get the culture, because I need 3 more policies for Honor to be completed. So I get 1 from the Sydney Opera House. We'll get possibly 1 from the Information Era. Otherwise, it's going to be 37 turns till I get 1 unnaturally. So I think what I would like is like to declare war around then.
You know this track.
I do know this track. I also heard them reference Chris Pine.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of certain movies starring Chris Pine that's similar to this.
Yes, similar is the right word.
Yeah.
I still maintain is a good introduction to those who have like no idea what it is, and even though it was up in some of the lore, or like even just the dynamics too, like it's still catered enough so that it wasn't purely for one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it is fine to be able to use it as an introduction to D&D, but I don't know. That's I think forever going to be a sticking point for me where they said, "Oh, this is a meant to be within the world of D&D. It's partnering with Wizards. We're going to try to make it accurate," and it was nowhere close to that. Well, I wouldn't say nowhere close. There were some egregious things in terms of like developing the world. A small handful of egregious things, but I think I think the 2 sins it committed for me that I can't get back is the communication that they're committing to the world without fully committing to the world, and the editors. Yeah, the editorial team letting some pretty egregious things go through.
Effects team or the effects team.
I mean, it's not so much the effects team. Like they did their job just fine, but it did come down to an editor to see those moments and say, "Oh, wait, there's something wrong here. Like we got to run this back. We got to, fix this."
Yeah, problem is though when it comes to editing, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but typically editing is done so far after all this stuff has been shot that it costs a lot of money to do reshoots, and a lot of people are just going to go, well, it's not that important. Most people, like 99% of people aren't going to notice. It's just not worth it.
I mean, I guess so, but there should still be somebody within like the editing department that should oversee some of the early stages of it.
Yeah,
and so they should probably take a note of that shot to be like, oh, okay, this is a note to jot down that when we pull her up, her cloak is getting caught up in the cable. Not too bad. I mean, we can remove it, but it's just we got to make a note for that for the future.
Yeah. All right. I'm putting 5 to international, 13 to embargo.
I'll just go embargo.
Yeah, the issue is if you need to make sure that both sides are talking to one another, everyone that's involved is talking, and that doesn't always happen. Usually the movies that are really good are the ones where they do talk, so it's like...
Yeah.
Especially when you have like heavy VFX ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Meanwhile, I just watched the first episode of The Acolyte, the new Star Wars show. Oh.
Is it indeed the gayest Star Wars yet?
It's not the greatest. I don't know about the I just saw the first episode and it's not that gay. It's just this one throw off or like throw away.
They don't want to throw people off the very first episode.
I guess. I mean, all they said was
your intent to make white people cry.
Yeah. All they said at the beginning was like, "Oh, your mom's," and that's it. That's like the only reference so far. Yeah. So nothing too egregious, but because I was talking about it with Ethan, and Ethan kind of dropped the spoilers for the next couple episodes.
Oh.
Yeah. But so far, I mean, action's fine, graphics fine.
Well, does it have the feel of Star Wars though? Like in terms of just the action too.
Well, do you, kind of? Do you care about spoilers,
No, I'm not gonna watch it. I don't.
Mitchell?
I don't give a crap.
Alright. So the premise is there's the main character has a twin sister, and the two of them got picked up by the Jedi Council because they were both Force sensitive. So they show up to, hey, we're mystics from the stars, and the Force is calling out to you, and we gotta nourish it now before, the dark side comes and takes you away, their propaganda. So they're working through that, and basically the twin doesn't want anything to do with the Jedi Council. And so she's begging with her sister, the main character, like, let's not do it. Let's just abandon them. Let's just do our own thing. And she's not really willing to listen. Seeing that her sister's like not gonna give in at all, decides the best thing I can do is let me burn the entire village to the ground. So that way it also burns the Jedi Temple that's here also to the ground. So if we're able to do that, then that'll scare away the Jedi Order, and they'll just leave us alone, because they're notorious for being pushovers like that. So that happens, most people die, and the main character believes that her twin died in the fire as well. Fast forward, she gets... Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like, oh shoot, my sister's dead. Now there's nothing, keeping me here. I might as well go with the Jedi. Goes, she trains to become a Jedi Knight. At some point, she gets dismissed. And the reason for that is she's got too much trauma. It's clouding her judgment. Probably not the wisest thing for her to continue, training up the Force, because this is just going to turn into like a force to be reckoned with. So let's just drop it altogether. They kick her out. 6 years passed, and then she shows up again, and she starts killing off members of the Jedi Order, specifically those who, starting with the people who met her on her home planet and took her away. So they're trying to investigate, and they find out, oh shoot, like a former Padawan of ours is going rogue and killing everybody. We gotta put a stop to this. Mind you, this takes place about 100 years before the events of Episode 1. So, like, there's tension between the Trade Federation and the Republic, and there's tension between the Jedi Order and the Republic, but not outright, like, political adversaries necessarily.
Yeah. Mitchell, can you spare your cotton or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, we have somebody who's out there who's killing off these Jedi. You know, the Republic's going to be able to use this as, you know, like a political smear campaign to destroy us. We got to do everything we can to prevent this from happening. So they look into it. The girl swears that she's innocent, and then they end up finding out, oh, it's because her twin sister, who they thought died in the fire, is actually still alive and now being raised by the Sith. And so,
the twin sister's the acolyte.
yes, the twin is the acolyte being raised by the Sith, and then she's the she's still Force sensitive and still technically aligned with the Jedi, even though she's kind of butthurt that they kicked her out.
But it's more like a selfish. It's like a alliance out of convenience.
Yeah, and more so desperation because they need to figure out what's going on with the sister, because they find out that their minds are linked, so they can share thoughts, or she's able to peer into her mind and see what she's doing, and vice versa.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think where the what's it called, the gayness starts coming from is they start talking about what's it called, yeah, the whole reason they're Force sensitive and the whole reason the Jedi were here in the first place is because there's a coven of witches that are able to procreate without the need of a man. And by doing so, they produced these two girls who are Force sensitive. But they're not the Night Sisters. So it's a different group of female-only witches. The difference is the Night Sisters actually had men that they would, use to procreate, and that's all they were really used for.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too. Where they kind of go against the lore of like midichlorians in general.
Well, apparently midichlorians was a whole throwaway that they were like, sure, this is bogus future science to describe why these things are happening. What? No one's gonna bat an eye. Because it came in on episode 1. They never talked about it 4 through 6.
Right. They didn't really talk about it much during 2 or 3 either, but still, it's there.
Yeah, it's considered canon now that they put it into episode 1.
Right, but still, it's not like it doesn't necessarily make sense.
Yeah, it also causes a lot. I mean, the whole thing is they kind of threw that away with like the clones and stuff being Force sensitive, because they've kind of messed around with that too, because clones aren't supposed to have the same midichlorian count. Like, it's not genetics per se. It's something else, so clones aren't necessarily, but they kind of threw that out with like Starkiller, and so
but the whole point of like the Force too is that some people are more Force sensitive or whatnot, but then everyone has like Force kind of sensitivity.
Well, what they really should do is explain that. Well, it's not that like it's not that midichlorians like say how strong you can get. Is just kind of like an inherent initial connection, which will then turn into overall typically stronger, but it's not something that someone with hard work or something can't like overcome, which would have make much more sense in the lore, but they never bothered to even like try to give an explanation so much as just throw it away.
Yeah, because I think the way they argue is the Force is like a energy that, like an aura that permeates all living things. So all things are bound to the Force, but not all things can tap into it.
Right.
And that's how they explain Force sensitivity, or they use Force sensitivity and midichlorian count to say like, oh, you're more.
My happiness.
more.
You probably just got
predisposed.
someone got ahead of you, so it's probably because your ideology. Check it. I've got negative 25 from public opinion.
I just went down like 15 happiness.
Yeah, so you went down another tick. Let me see. It's not what I wanted. Yeah, you're in a revolutionary wave. You've got 4 people that are pushing for autocracy now, compared to the one you originally had.
Huge. But yeah, the Night Sisters, though, lore-wise, they're the same race that Darth Maul comes from. And so their premise was the men are these hyper-aggressive, hyper-militaristic, but almost primal brutes that don't really think for themselves, which also doesn't make sense based off of Maul, because at least he was more of a thinker. Still brutish for sure, but more of a thinker than the others. I guess that's why he probably got trained up to be a Sith. Yeah, all the men are just like super violent. Yeah, super violent, very brutish, somewhat low intelligence, you know, kind of like caveman-esque. And then the women are these elegant mistresses who, they're the ones who are the most force sensitive, and they produce, they produce the Sith assassins that can go out there.
That's also sexist. Mitchell, can you give me a loan again?
Yeah. Ask for it.
Yeah, you can.
I'm in a golden age. That's. I'm gonna need as much money as I can get. I'm also getting for international games.
Buy out Cahokia and get some happiness back.
Just Koki is not allied with me, right?
No,
Okay, yeah.
not allied with anybody.
Well, just be aware that you're gonna be losing like 2 per turn.
2 what per turn?
Influence.
Yeah.
You could swap to autocracy. You don't really need order anymore, right? You'll lose a couple policies, but you'll get all of your happiness back.
That's true. That's true. And I have, that's true. I do have the thing, the wonder.
Yeah, you'll lose a couple policies, but you don't have to worry about happiness anymore. Your happiness should be great.
More production. I mean, I lose out on some science too because of my factories. But then it's just like happiness.
Well, you're gonna lose out on everything if you're unhappy, so.
Just 6 in order to 4 in autocracy. I think that's worth the happiness because most of my okay.
Yeah, because there's too. It's the amount you lose from being unhappy versus the amount you lose from swapping is huge.
Let's throw it out there. The international game is already 10% complete. I'm just gonna go full on into it.
I'm just trying to hit the second tier.
Yeah, I want that free policy. That's gonna be big for me. Because at my current rate, that current rate, I'll have maybe 4,000 production into it, which is I don't think is enough. Usually you need about 3 to 5 times as much depending on who's going for it, and it's going fast. So I'm just gonna go all in. So given that we're currently at peace, I would suggest you guys do the same.
Do what?
Go all in on international games until you get the
yeah,
silver.
I need to Wait for this wave to pass.
Yeah. So yeah, what the Night Sisters would do is they'd have the men of their race compete against each other, and then the strongest of them all would procreate with all the women, and then that's how their race continues.
Wait, so they try to portray it in like a good light, or it's like it's weird because it's like both negative sense. I say okay, it's kind of projecting.
It's just their culture.
It's their culture and their. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's genetic is why it's not like men are just like they're thought to be dumber. Is they actually are dumber if I remember right.
Yeah.
Well, still.
Less sophisticated.
Like significantly.
Less intelligent. Yeah. Less likely to cooperate with one another and all that.
Again, still, that's still kind of like projecting.
Is it? I mean, if it's established fact as a race, it's like the Drow in D&D.
Oh yeah, but then the Drow are like, yeah. I mean, the Drow are the D&D kind of like what the, well, not the Drow. I'm thinking like the Githyanki. I'm thinking Githyanki are to D&D.
Oh, speaking of not having a war, jeez. Oh man. I'm gonna lose Memphis. Because I don't have my anti-air.
Yeah.
Sheesh, all of them?
Everyone.
So you have a strength of 25. These guys have a strength of 45. Well, I can send my destroyers over, I guess. Destroyer, rather.
The soundtrack is so appropriate right now.
Kakar Nathara.
Battleship Bomber.
How? How do they send in people to kill off my fishing boat so fast? It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's fine. To be it.
I might need to like hide my artillery and stuff because I can't. They're just taking him out.
Yeah.
Game, what part of 72 equals 100? Like seriously, that's so stupid.
What?
It says I'm gonna take 72 damage and I lose my unit.
Oh.
It's like...
That's wonderful. But yeah, I think my issue with this new show, The Acolyte, right now, as of right now, at least with the first episode, is everyone's kind of a pushover when it comes to like convincing each other.
Yeah, that's the thing about like Star Wars too. It's just like why does it have to seem so like forced? It's like they want you to not like them.
Unintended.
And then they're like trying.
Well, it's not so much that. So like, so there's a moment where the main character's in a holding cell, and there's these other dudes in a neighboring cell that's like, hey man, we're trying to break out of here. You know, we're trying to get off this Jedi ship and make a run for it with the escape pods. She's like, that's dumb. You're not gonna get very far. And I said, all right, suit yourself. She's like, no, like it's just doing this will, like, there's this huge risk of it killing us, and I don't think it's worth. I say, okay, well, shouldn't be that big of an issue. We're still gonna go forward with it anyway. So if you want to just be stuck here and die, that's up to you. And immediately, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll help you guys break out. Just like, what happened to the conviction of like, no, like this might actually kill us. This might be a lot more drastic than you think it is.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I'll help you. That's fine. It's like, okay.
Man, this loss of production hurts. That's going. That's going. 44%? Oh my gosh.
Be interesting to know who they declared war against.
I think it kind of shows in the thing because it like, whoever they declare war on, like I think that's the target.
Well, it was just all of us is all I saw.
Yeah, just it declares war on you. At least that's what I see. But yeah, so there's that interaction, and then there's another interaction later where there's a they approach the Jedi Knight that trained her when she was a Padawan, and they said, "Oh, hey, we're just here to tell you she's wanted for murder, and we have her now. So just letting you know." Oh, she escaped, so we're sending a team to go look for her. And the Jedi Knight says, "Hey, like, you guys should send me because, you know, she's my Padawan and my mistake." The person he's talking to says, "No, you're too valuable to us. We're not going to send you." And he's like, "Oh, but I was her master, so it only makes sense."
And
Well, all right, go ahead and send him. Which feels like the whole Jedi Order is a bunch of pushovers.
yeah. Well, I think that's the whole point too. They do want to like get rid of the good guys, or just stain the good guys.
I don't know. The series is just weird right now. Very weird.
57,332. 13. All right, that's 2160. How is that even?
I've never had the AI be this smart before. Usually I would have ended a deity game by now, so...
Yeah. Do you see any Swedish cities south of Venice that have aircraft?
South of Venice.
South or east?
I see 2 in Malmo. Double bomber. Vanta has a bomber.
Okay, Malmo, I see.
Yeah, Malmo and Vanta are bombers.
Oh, that's east. Okay.
Yeah. South. I see 2 in Orebro. 2 atomic bombs. That's fine. Yeah. Those are the only ones I'm seeing.
Do we need to rush? Do we need to start building atomic bombs now?
But it's just the amount of aircraft they have. I mean, it's killing me because I have nothing. I have no anti-air. I have no.
4, 6, 8, 10.
Yes, I've come to beg for mercy, actually. Like, I can lose these cities. It's not a huge deal. I can always just come back later, but, like... Frickin' A. It's losing all my good units.